People understand in the education world, we're ranked very, very poorly. We're 38, 39, and 40 out of 40 countries. We're at the bottom of the pack almost always, or very close to it. That just came out. We're 40 out of 40. And if we move it back to the states, I will guarantee you that if you take Idaho, you take Iowa, you take almost any of the states that I'm looking at right now, they'll be as good as Norway. You have Sweden, you have Denmark. I must say you have China that's very high in the pack, which is no longer, we can say it has to be a small area. China is very big, but they do a very good job. But we'll have at least 35 of our states that will be as good or better than any of those countries, and we have to get it done. Attorney General Steve Marshall. Steve, thank you very much. Steve, wherever you may be. General Tim Griffin, thank you. Thank you. A person who is so wonderful. Brenna Bird, where are you? Brenna Bird. Thank you. She supported me before people wanted to support me, right, Brenna? Wow. Thank you very much. I appreciated it. Andrew Bailey, great job. Where's Andrew? Great. Stand up, Andrew. One of the great attorney generals. Thank you very much. One of the greats, really. And Jason Miyares. Thanks, Jason. And now we get back to our members of Congress, and we'll go quickly, but it's a great group of people. Steve Scalise is right in front here. What a brave guy Steve is. Steve went through a lot, and he proved one thing to me, only one thing, that his wife loved him. His wife loves him because I went to the hospital that night, and he was not given even a shot, right, Mike? And I was with him, and I was with his wife, and she was devastated. She was really devastated. And I've been to, similar situations, not quite as bad, but the wives were not so devastated. And I can tell you that great wife of yours loves you. So anyway, and what you've done is incredible. The way you've come back, it's you look better now than you did before it happened. But nobody wants to go through that. Yeah, it's amazing. Tom Emmer doing a fantastic job. Thank you, Tom. Great job. Lisa McLean. Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Hi. Good job. Virginia Fox. Hi, Virginia. Tim, man, how are the taxes doing? Okay. We're going to get good things passed, I hope, right? Juan Ciscomaris. Arizona. Where are you, Juan? Hello, Juan. Stand up, Juan. You look so good. You always look good. Kevin Kiley. Kevin, wherever you may be. What happened? How come he had no applause? Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert. Very much a leader in this. Thank you, Lauren. Kat Kamek, Florida. Thank you, Kat. Byron Donalds, he's doing good. Byron's doing good. Where is he? You're doing good, Byron. Laurel Lee. Thank you, Laurel. Thank you. Great job. Anna Paulina Luna. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Greg Stube hit a home run wearing a Trump cap. The only one to hit a home run out of the park during your crazy baseball game, right? I think I will come. I think I'll come. If you're playing, I'll come. Somebody that's very shy. This is a very shy person, and but she's trying to break out of it. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Ashley, thank you. Marionette Miller Meeks. Good job you did. Good job. Great job. Mary Miller. Hi, Mary. Julia Letlow. Hi, Julia. Claudia Tenney from New York. Claudia. Hi, Claudia. Hi. Great job. Nicole Meliatakis. Hi, Nicole. Good. Doing good. I saw a great poll with you, Nicole. Michelle Fishbach. Thank you. Great job. Ann Wagner, Missouri. Thanks. Sherry Biggs, South Carolina. Thanks, Sherry. Great job. Nancy Mace. Where's Nancy? Here's something. Oh, are you a believer in what we're doing, Nancy? Nancy takes it on right from the start, right? Would you like to say something? Would you like to say we're doing the right thing? Good. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nancy. Stephanie Bice, Oklahoma. Thanks, Stephanie. Diana Harshbarger. Thanks, Diana. Good job. Tim Burchett. Tim, I watched you on television the other day. You were unbelievable. You ripped that guy apart. Man, that poor guy, he started getting a little fresh with Tim, and Tim just ripped him apart. That was beautiful. I actually left a message. That's good. Great job, Tim. That was great. Monica De La Cruz. Monica. Great. Ronnie Jackson. Ronnie. Dr. Ronnie. He's a doctor, a great admiral, and a great congressman, right? Pretty good. He has his choice. What do you like doing best, Ronnie?
I like being your doctor best.
That's nice. Who is the healthiest patient you ever had? You know why I liked him? The fake news asked, so doctor, he had Obama, Bush, and Trump in the White House. He was the White House doctor. And they asked him, who's the healthiest of the three? He said, it's not close. It's Donald Trump. And from that moment, I love this guy. Right? Thank you, Ronnie. Wesley Hunt from Texas. Hi, Wesley. Beth Van Dyne. Beth from Texas. Thanks, Beth. Burgess Owens, a great athlete, an NFL star. Ken Kiggins from Virginia. Thank you. Thank you, honey. Thank you very much, Jen. I appreciate it. Harriet Hageman, what a lawyer. Ooh. One of the best, one of the most talented lawyers you'll ever see. What she did to her opponent was horrible. Let's see, who was her opponent? Let's see. Oh, does anybody remember her opponent? We tend to forget. We forgot that one, huh? And, you know, your speaker, I'm going to introduce him later anyway, but your speaker has been fantastic. Stand up, Mike. He's great. What a good man. A really good man. Also, some friends of ours, Sage Steele, has been very strong on the issue. Sage, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Great job. Tiffany Justice, Tina Deskovich, founders of Moms for Liberty, and they honored me, and it was a great honor. And thank you very much, both of you. Thank you. Heather Higgins, Andy Butner, Victoria Coley from Independent Women's Forum. It's a fantastic group of people that fought very hard on this issue. I think everybody in this room really fought very hard on this issue.
Thank you, sir.
Kim Fletcher. You know Kim? Debbie, I think Debbie's here. Crew Lidis from also Moms of America. And Penny Lance, of course, CEO of the Concerned Women for America. That is a lot of people. Thank you very much, Penny. Good job you do. That's a lot of people. Can I give here? Why don't you hold that? You sell it tonight. So, just to finish up, I'm directing the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who, by the way, is doing a fantastic job. In fact, he just left Panama. We're trying to take back the Panama Canal, little things like that. It'll all happen. But Marco is going to make clear to the International Olympic Committees there, and he's going to make it as clear as anybody can make it, that America categorically rejects transgender lunacy. We want them to change everything having to do with the Olympics and having to do with this absolutely ridiculous subject that we even have to talk about this subject. If you went back 10 years or 15 years and you would move forward and listen to this, you'd say, what the hell are they talking about? This is impossible. But you have people out there, Democrats, that are still totally in favor. They can't win the argument. They can't win a debate. They look like fools, and they continue to go on. And it's okay, because as long as they do this and open borders and all of the other things they talk about, transgender, everything, all they want to do is transgender and men playing in women's sports and all of these crazy things. And if they continue, I think we're going to end up ultimately, it's not going to matter because we're never going to go along with them, and we're just going to keep winning elections, right, Mike? So when the Olympics comes to Los Angeles, I was responsible for getting the Olympics, and I said, oh, boy, this is terrible because I got the Olympics and I won't be president. And then what happened is that an election, strange things happened in an election. So I missed 4 years, and now I have the Olympics. It was sort of circuitous. It was a circuitous situation. And we also have the World Cup coming, which is going to be fantastic. And we have, as you know, very importantly, 250 years coming. That's a big one next year, so that's a very big one. But in Los Angeles in 2028, my administration will not stand by and watch men beat and batter female athletes, and we're just not going to let it happen, and it's going to end, and it's ending right now, and nobody's going to be able to do a damn thing about it, because when I speak, we speak with authority. And for the same reason, just to make sure, I'm also directing our Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, who's also doing she's out there with you, Greg, a fantastic job. She's unbelievable. I was watching her riding yesterday on a horse. She was as good as anybody. She's very good. To deny any and all visa applications made by men attempting to fraudulently enter the United States while identifying themselves as women athletes, try and get into the games, maybe where they are unable to get into the games. We're honored to be joined today by many incredible advocates for women's sports, including the brave swimmer at the forefront of this battle. And Riley Gaines is a person that I've been watching. Yeah. She fought hard. Riley was a 12-time All-American. Well, that's pretty good. 12-time All-American who sacrificed countless hours in the pool just for a chance at the title. It's so important to her. She gave up everything and just gave everything she had. But then the league forced her to share a spot on the podium with a male swimmer who took her trophy while the media celebrated this stolen glory. And Riley is just a tremendous athlete, and it was a very unfair situation. I watched it. A lot of people watched it. It was ridiculous, frankly. But I want to thank Riley. She really has been in the forefront. People that aren't that well-versed in this would say that she was the leader. And great job, Riley. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And also with us is another great champion for women, Peyton McNabb. In high school, Peyton was a rock star athlete. Where is Peyton? Where is Peyton? I like Peyton. Nice to see you. Good job. Good job. Looks like a good athlete to me. In high school, Peyton was a rock star athlete preparing for a future in college sports. But in one volleyball match, a much taller and stronger male spiked the ball right in her face, knocking her unconscious, partially paralyzing her right side and leaving her with a traumatic brain injury. And Peyton said it was 100% avoidable if only my rights as a female athlete had been more important than a man's feelings. And we can't let it happen, and it's not going to happen. Not going to happen anymore, Peyton. It's not going to happen. Are you okay? Are you good?
I'm doing a lot better.
Good. That's good. Thank you. We're also pleased to be joined by many incredible leaders on this issue. And as I mentioned before, Speaker Mike Johnson, and he has been so strong on this issue because he's a man of common sense. I mean, it really is. It's common sense more than anything else. So, Mike, thank you. Great job. Great job in everything. He's got the easiest job of any politician in history. He's got the nicest, like 200 and almost 20. It sort of varies between, depends on how many people I take from my administration. It goes up and down a little bit, but I promised I won't take any more. I just wanted to see how good he was. I was testing you. And we have some great people, but he's filling them up rapidly. He had some big wins the other day, very big wins the other day. But you've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate it. We all appreciate it. And also the dozens of members of the House and Senate and governors that attorney generals, so many people, and the people outside that can't even get in. This room is packed. And, I offered to build a ballroom. I'm very good at building ballrooms. I build beautiful ballrooms. And I actually offered to build a ballroom for the White House. I was going to build it right there. This was going to be the reception room. And then I was going to build a beautiful, beautiful ballroom like I have at Mar-a-Lago, as beautiful as it can be. It was going to cost about $100 million. I offered to do it, and I never heard back. I offered to do it to the Biden administration, very active administration. And they didn't hear back. And I said again and again, 3-4 times, I said to top people, and they just didn't know what to do. They sort of said, this is good, but they had no idea. So I'm going to try and make the offer to myself, because we could use a bigger room. Right, Marshall? We could use a bigger room. President, would you like to build? Yeah, I would. We could use at the White House. It would actually be a beautiful addition. It's going to cost nothing. I'll spend the whole thing myself. We'll do a big, beautiful room, but we could use it at the White House. You know what they do when they have a big ceremony? They put up a tent. And somehow I think we've outgrown the tent stuff, right? Don't you think? So we'll see if they can, we'll see if Trump will approve it. But the actions we're taking today are the latest in a sweeping effort to reclaim our culture and our laws from the radical left crusade against biological reality. On day one, I made it official, and I'm making it official policy of the United States government that there is, two genders. We have two genders. What might they be? Man.
I'm Alex Bechet in
woman,
Washington,
right?
and you are currently listening to President Trump from the White House signing an executive order banning transgender athletes from playing in women's sports. This was a campaign promise that the president had made while he was running. It certainly was a touchstone for that campaign at rallies across the country. I want to bring in White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks, who's been listening along to the president's remarks today. And Mary Alice, can you break down, how is his executive order using Title IX to carry this out?
Yeah, well, you heard the president there joking that it was a packed room. You saw the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, there as well. You're right to point out that this was a campaign promise and a really central part of Trump's campaign. For all of our talk about the economy and lowering prices, I went to so many of those rallies, and such a focus was this conversation about trans athletes. What's really interesting is, according to a lot of studies, there's only about 30, maybe 50 openly transgender athletes that compete in college sports, and yet this has been such a big focus, point of attention and legislation, and now executive orders for Republicans across the country, and now at the White House. Basically, this executive order, as we understand it, is going to direct federal agencies to look again at how Title IX was written or rewritten, and to put pressure on private institutions around college campuses, around college sports, but also potentially even elementary and high school sports. Could be as much as the Olympic Committee. The White House was getting questions about the Olympics coming to Los Angeles. But basically, look for pressure points to try to make sure, as they say, that they're not transgender athletes competing in athletics writ large. Alex?
Yeah, and thank you for that, Mary Alice. And I also want to bring in investigative reporter Olivia Rubin, because my understanding, Olivia, is that this order is also going to direct the Department of Education to withhold federal funds, at least while the Department of Education is still a thing, but directed to withhold federal funds from schools that do not comply with Trump's interpretation of the law. Can you talk about how this came to be a little bit?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That is part of at least sort of that enforcement operation for how they're going to ensure that this new executive order is being followed. You also heard the President Trump talking there about other sort of measures for enforcement. One of them, which our understanding, according to sources, is that they're going to use the Department of Justice, if need be, to look into this. Of course, the Department of Justice is stacked with Trump loyalists who would have no problem, following something like this. He also talked about how he plans to use DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to police visas that are being approved for athletes that he says are coming in under a false identity. Of course, that would be trans women. He also talked to saying how he is going to use Secretary of State Marco Rubio to hit on something that Mary Alice just brought up, which is the Olympics. The Olympics are coming here, and we heard the White House say this earlier. Now we hear it directly from President Trump that they're not going to be welcoming to, it seems, any transgender athletes to compete in the Olympics, and that Marco Rubio is going to be tasked with delivering that message. So really a lot of different prongs here, Alex. I think it's easy to, with something like this, to say, how are they going to enforce that? But it seems they really are getting down to business with it.
Well, in Mary Alice, we see the president now being surrounded by all these young children. Actually, Mary Alice, pause for a second. I want to listen in to see what he's saying right now.
You want to do this? Watch what I do, and then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? Are you ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature, because this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
Pretty good, huh? Okay? Good. Now you're going to go out with the...
All right, so we just saw the president sign that executive order there. Mary Alice, I want to bring you back in because we see that he's surrounded by all these young children. But can you talk a little bit about the people that are in the room? We saw that backdrop. He's surrounded by women that were applauding. I mean, these are parents, students. It looks like an array. But who's in that room?
Several congressional leaders, not only members of Congress, but top leadership. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, we saw, was sitting there. It seems like some Republican governors as well. But the backdrop, yes, these female athletes. We saw that often on the campaign trail. A number of female athletes, especially at the collegiate level, who would appear on stage with then candidate and now President Trump talking about how they wanted to get trans women, biological men, out of their athletics. I mentioned this earlier, but I do think it is really important to note that we're talking about such a small percentage of athletes. Some estimates it could be as low as 30, if not maybe 50 openly transgender athletes in college sports. I'm thinking about the governor of Utah, a Republican, obviously a very conservative state, who actually vetoed a ban like this that was written in his state legislature, in part because he said there was only one openly trans athlete in K through 12 at the time that the legislation was being proposed, and he thought that it was essentially, the way he talked about it was overblown and potentially bullying. So look, this is a really controversial issue for so many, but yet has been a cornerstone of Trump's campaign, and he's delivering on a campaign promise, Alex.
Well, and Olivia, one more for you, because as we saw the president exit the room there, I think I caught a glimpse of our Mary Bruce asking him questions. But also, while the camera was panning, I think I also saw a couple of states' AGs. Let's talk about the enforcement factor here. How will states really be able to kind of crack down on this?
Well, that's a key thing that you're hitting on right there. I do believe I also heard him mention some AGs that are in there. I think he mentioned Brenna Bird, who is, of course, the Iowa AG, someone who's a fierce defender and ally of the president. And according to sources who sort of described this order to us earlier here at ABC, the AGs, the state AGs, are really going to be critical in enforcing this, critical for monitoring, I guess, in their states, what schools are doing. Remember, this is going to apply to schools, to sports associations, to college sports, essentially, to the Olympics. So again, it seems like it is going to be something that is enforced by the states. But again, you cannot take off the table sort of that looming threat of Department of Justice action. That is something that is critical there. And also, you heard Mary Alice hit on this idea earlier about ripping away federal funding. If they don't believe that a school is following this new executive order that they are allowing transgender women in women's sports, that they could rip away their federal funding, which is critical for some schools there, Alex.
All right, Mary Alice Parks and Olivia Rubin, thank you very much. Protesters rallying across the country today, including here in Washington, D.C., against President Trump's early moves in his second term. That includes his push for federal staffing cuts. Democratic lawmakers joining demonstrators today at the Labor Department, where organizers say staffers from Elon Musk's Doge were set to hold meetings. Democratic lawmakers also joining protesters today at a rally against controversial cuts to USAID, the agency providing American foreign aid. And beyond here in Washington, demonstrators gathered across the nation in cities including Atlanta, Philly, Boston, and Phoenix. Organizers at least some of those events say that they were seeking to hold 50 protests across all 50 states. ABC News' Jay O'Brien is live outside of the Labor Department right now with more. Hey, Jay, what's the latest there?
Yeah, Alex, so you can hear the demonstration going on around me. There's about 100+ folks here on the steps of the Department of Labor, and it's because, as you said, there was this scheduled meeting today with representatives of the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, that new initiative run by Elon Musk, and staffers at the Department of Labor. We've now learned, according to organizers here, that meeting has been moved to virtual, but this protest is still very much underway. There are some signs in the crowd, and you can see them. There's one behind me here, Workers Over Billionaires. There's another sign that says that Elon Musk, quote unquote, owns President Trump. And there is this ongoing sense from the federal employees we've talked to here, and a lot of them, frankly, don't want to go on camera because they're worried about retaliation from the Trump administration. But there is this sense from them that they are at risk, and their jobs are at risk, and their roles are at risk. And so much of this DOGE effort, as you know, Alex, is done in a way that is not public. It's meetings behind closed doors at these various agencies. It's Musk and his lieutenants going through federal government files and looking for efficiencies and looking to gut certain agencies like they did with USAID, that these federal workers feel that they have no sense of what is coming next for them, Alex. And frankly, lawmakers I've talked to, because I cover Capitol Hill, as you know, on both sides of the aisle, also feel that sense of uncertainty. Even Republicans who say that they support what Elon Musk is doing, but even they don't have the details day to day of exactly what he's going at. Democrats have said that Elon Musk has outsized authority in this administration in an unconstitutional way. I've pressed Republican lawmakers on that, asking what exactly is Elon Musk's authority here. They characterize him as an advisor to President Trump and nothing more. But of course, that's not what these folks here believe, and it's not what we've heard from congressional Democrats, Alex.
We've certainly heard those Republicans downplay his influence on the president. Jay, thank you so much for that update. And coming up after the break, how the Arab world is responding to Trump's controversial comments about a proposal for the U.S. to take over the Gaza Strip. Stay with us.
aboard? Your one-stop ship for sharks and more sharks has arrived.
You guys ready for this?
I was born ready.
On America Says,
I don't like blank on my sandwich.
when you fill in the blank,
Ketchup, pickle, onion, mustard, mayonnaise.
Oh, there it is!
you take your team to the bank.
Bad luck. Black cat.
Join host John Michael Higgins for America Says. Watch full episodes on Game Show Central.
Calling all Tyler Perry fans.
Make sure everybody's on high alert.
Your favorite hit BET shows in one place, 24/7.
Wait, what?
Sisters, Zatima, The Oval, All the Queen's Men, Bruh, and Ruthless.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
All the heart-pounding drama. All the time.
It's a wild ride. Buckle up.
On BET, Tyler Perry Drama.
This competition is about understanding the fundamentals and traditions in sushi and Japanese cuisine.
I'm ready.
This could be anyone's game.
For everyone out there, follow your dreams.
Welcome back. Now to the growing global outrage after President Trump said that the United States will take control of the Gaza Strip. He proposed the plan last night during a joint press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The president going so far as to say that he's willing to use U.S. troops to, quote, level the site. Take a listen.
We're going to take over that piece and we're going to develop it, create thousands and thousands of jobs. I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East. And everybody I've spoken to, this was not a decision made lightly. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land.
In that plan, Trump has also called for the roughly 2 million people who live in Gaza to leave the territory. ABC News is hearing from some Palestinians about the president's threat to take ownership of Gaza. Here's some of the reaction.
مش راح اطلع يعني هذه اول عن اخر ارضي هذه وين اطلع وين اروح يعني
هذه ارضنا ووطننا واحنا صامدين فيها باذن الله.
يا بموت في غزه يا بعيش في غزه. الناس اللي هاجرت ونزحت تتبهدل. ويمكن انتم بتعرفوا كمان الكلام هذا.
لا استحاله اعوذ بالله يا راجل الواحد بلا مؤاخذه بضحي بدمه عشان يضل بقلب ارضه.
And Hamas is now responding to Trump's proposal, saying that the U.S. will, quote, face the entire region if the president follows through. To discuss more on this, let's bring in ABC News chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell, reporting from Amman, Jordan. And Ian, Trump is encouraging Palestinians in Gaza to seek refuge in bordering countries. How is Jordan and other countries in the region reacting to the president's proposal?
They've got a fine balance to try and track, in the sense that certainly for Jordan, King Abdullah II of Jordan is going to Washington. He's meeting President Trump next week, only the second world leader to meet with the president after Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. So they're being slightly circumspect, but I think it's fair to describe that the entire idea has been reasonably condemned across the region, from Jordan, from Egypt, from Saudi Arabia in particular. A whole bunch of words have been used, like absurd, non-negotiable, non-starter, condemnation from groups who've been involved in the fight against Israel as well. And there are many reasons for that. I mean, here in Jordan, it already has a majority percentage